Hi, I'm Mark from easylawnmowing.co.uk and this is the Murray 2-in-1 pole saw and hedge trimmer. In this video we're going to learn about the features and functions of this 18-volt tool, and by the end of this video you'll know whether this is the right tool for you and your garden. So before we take a closer look at this 2-in-1 pole saw and hedge trimmer from Murray, we need to get it unboxed. So let's do that now. Let's see what comes supplied with this tool. Okay, so that's our 2-in-1 Murray hedge trimmer and pole saw unboxed. So what do you actually get supplied with this tool? So what I first need to explain to you is that I have gone for the bare tool model, which means that I don't have a battery and a charger supplied with this tool because I already have the Murray lawnmower. So I'll put a link in the description below this video to a review of that mower. So I got two 5-amp-hour batteries with that mower and a dual charger, so there was no point in me buying the batteries with this tool, and this actually saved me around 45% in terms of the cost. So this is a bare tool model. If you were to go for the one that's supplied with the battery, the 2-in-1 tool, you would get a single 5-amp-hour 18-volt battery with a single charger provided, but you're not going to see that here because this is the bare tool option. Okay, so what you get in the box is naturally the pole itself. So this extends to 2.6 meters. In terms of the overall reach, because of your body height and your arm length, you're going to be easily able to achieve around 3.5 meters in terms of the reach with this tool. You naturally get the chainsaw, the pole saw piece. So this is 20 centimeters. So this is a 20 centimeter length. So that will allow you to cut branches up to 15 centimeters. You get the chain with it as well, supplied with it. So what we'll do in a moment, we'll put the chain onto the saw itself and I'll show you how to do that. You get the user guide with it. So very important to read that before you start using this tool for the safety instructions, absolutely essential. You also get this handle here. So this tool is going to weigh around 6 kilograms, so you're going to need that little bit of extra support there when holding this tool, and we'll see it later when I'm using it in the garden. So that's the pole itself, the handle, and then the pole saw. Naturally this is a 2-in-1, so you get the hedge trimmer as well. So this hedge trimmer, 41 centimeters, a really good length, and this will allow you to cut branches up to around 16 millimeters, so it's quite a good cut on that, and you can see the distance there in the teeth. So we'll be testing again this a little bit later. In terms of the adjustments, so there's 7 different angles that you can lock this head into, and again we'll be looking at that when we go out and test this tool a little bit later. And so this is actually the pole saw attachment, so you can adjust the tension here of the chain, so there's no tools required. You're going to need a little bit of lubricant in here, so I'll be explaining all that when we do the assembly in a moment. So that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, sorry, one other thing, you do get the shoulder harness here as well supplied. So first impressions, really good. The quality does feel good. The tool itself is part of a range of tools from Murray. So there's also just hedge trimmers, not hedge trimmers on a pole, but there's also hedge trimmers as well. There's leaf blowers. There's also grass trimmers as well, and they all share this range of 18-volt batteries, which is really nice. Okay, so let's go out, let's see, let's get this assembled first, then we'll go out and we'll test this tool. Assembly of this tool is to get this handle onto the pole. So you simply just undo this bolt here, you clip this on, like so, and then you just secure it using this bolt through here. I'm just going to do that up. And what this essentially allows you to do when this is loose is for you to adjust this to your correct posture where you want it to go. So So when you've got it in the right position, you just simply tighten it off like so. And then that's that part of the installation done. If you do want to use the shoulder strap, that's what this piece is for here. So you simply just lock that in like so. So the next thing to do is to attach either your hedge trimmer or your pole saw to the actual pole itself. So really straightforward. So you basically just line up the tool with the pole itself. So let me just, and then this just simply screws up and makes a really tight and firm fit. So do that up nice and tight until it completely locks into place like so. And then that's your tool attached to the pole itself. So in terms of adjusting the pole length, you have this quick release lever here, which you simply undo, and then the pole can be extended or brought down to your desired length and then just locked in again. So when you're in the position that you want, just simply lock it in and that's nice and secure. So as I mentioned earlier, the hedge trimmer itself has 7 different cutting positions, different cutting angles, which is really nice, and we're going to be testing that a little bit later because I do have a bay tree out in the front garden which I need to cut the top off, so we're going to go and test that and see how well that works, which is going to be really interesting to see. So the only other thing now to assemble is the chainsaw itself, or the pole saw itself. So let's do that now, and then we'll be ready to go out and test this tool out in my garden. So the next thing to do is to get the chain onto the blade here, onto this metal plate, and get it attached to the pole saw itself. So this is probably the most tricky part of the assembly of this tool. So what you need to do is, first of all, get some garden gloves on, because the blades on the chain are a little bit sharp. You don't want to catch your finger. So what you do is you remove this cover, like so. So you have 2 nuts here. You have this one, which is your locking nut, and then this outer one, which is your tensionizer. So what we need to do is get the blade onto this plate. So we just slot it in around the edge, like so. So just make sure you get that on the right way. There is a little guide here that shows you which way it should be pointing, so the sharp edge is pointing forwards. You also have an indicator here on the plastic body as well, showing you which way the blade should be facing. So then all we do then is we just hold that onto the plate. We hook the chain around there onto the cog, like so. And then that just locks in on this plate here. And then you just need to get this back on and lock it in, like so. So you hook that over the back. It is a little bit tricky, as you can see there. I'll just let that fall off. Let's do that again. So I think the secret is to keep this pulled a little bit forward. I'm just going to try that again. And there we go, we're in. And then I'm just going to lock that off with the green nut here. So I'm not going to over tighten it. And then I'm going to use the tensionizer to get the tension of the blade right. So what you're looking for, so just release that off a little bit, is just for this blade to spring back. So it doesn't have to be too tight, not to over tighten it. There can be a tiny little bit of sag there. So I'm just leaving a little bit of wiggle room there. And when I've got it right, I'm going to lock it off with this green nut here, like so. And then that should just spring back. That is a little bit tight. So I'm just going to take that off a tiny bit. And as you can see there's a little bit of play there, and it just springs back. So to me, that feels good. But every time you use this, you're going to just have to keep checking that the tension is correct, especially when you're just starting out with a new tool. Okay, so that's the blade on. All we need now to do is to get some oil. And it is a special chain oil that you're going to need. It's available in any DIY store. You can buy it on Amazon as well. So you're just going to need, really, every time you're filling this up, it's only 80 millilitres of oil in here. I think the smallest you can buy is 1 litre, which is going to cost around £10. So you will need to have that. Do not operate this without having that oil in the machine. Okay, so that's the assembly done. We're ready now to go out and test this and see how well it performs. Okay, so we've come outside now to give this 2-in-1 tool from Murray a test. So we've had this bay tree here cut about a year ago professionally, and it's now just starting to get out of control again, and I can't get to the top of the tree, so that's why we've purchased this tool for the extra reach. So the first thing that I've actually done is to get the handle. I had the handle too high and all of the weight was on the front of the tool, so I've adjusted that down now, and I feel that that's a good position. So first of all, get that in a nice position to take the weight of the main hedge cutter at the front of the tool there. So what I've done is, as I mentioned, I do have the Murray cordless lawnmower, which comes with two 5 amp hour batteries and this dual charger here. So I've taken one of the batteries from the lawnmower, and then that just slides into the end of the tool here, like so, and just locks in. So that's really one of the nice things about these Murray tools, is that you can share the battery. So I bought this bare tool, as I mentioned earlier, with no battery, no charger. That saved me about 35–40% of the cost of this tool. So really pleased with that. Okay, so that's the device, that's the tool set up and ready to go. I've adjusted the head here straight because I'm going to be doing the sides first, and then we'll do a 90-degree angle and we'll see how well that cuts the top of the bay tree here. Okay, that's it. Let's go. Let's see how well this cuts. So just before we start cutting, I just wanted to mention about wearing safety equipment. So goggles, absolutely essential when you're doing anything like this. Gloves, essential as well. The ear defenders, this tool operates at around a sound volume of around 100 decibels. So always advisable to put ear defenders on as well. Okay, that's it. Let's go and try it. Okay, so we're now going to try and cut the top of the bay tree or bay bush here. So what I'm going to do is just adjust the head. So I'm going to be standing back a little bit, so I'm not going to do the full 90 degrees. And I'm just going to extend this a little bit. Lock that off. Okay, let's see how well that does. Okay, so I hope you could see there how well this hedge trimmer from Murray did at cutting the bay tree here. So Murray estimate that you're going to get around 2 hours of cutting time, and I can well believe that because I've just checked my battery. I've just cut this bay, I've just checked the battery, and there's 98% of the charge left in the battery, so I don't doubt that you are going to get really good run times with the hedge trimmer. So you can cut branches up to 16 millimeters there, and I hope you could see we tested it on a branch 16 mil. No, you did have to put quite a bit of pressure on to cut it. It did eventually cut it. And gave a nice clean cut as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to the to the pole saw, because we do have some thicker branches on this bay that I'd like to take down somewhat. So we're going to try that now. We're going to put the chainsaw on. It does need some chain oil, some chainsaw chain oil in there, which I've got here. So this is the smallest that I could find, 1 litre. This only takes a very small amount of oil. So let's get the oil in, let's test this, and let's see how well this does at cutting the thicker branches. So Murray will estimate that this will cut around 50 branches at around 15 centimetres in width. So we're going to try that now, and let's see how we get on. Okay, so wow, I hope you could see there, I am super impressed with this pole saw, how well and how easy it has cut this this trunk that I've been wanting to be cut out for a long time. So if I measure that, that's 12 centimetres there, and it went through it within 30 seconds and it was done. So in terms of the number of cuts, you're going to get around 48 of these cuts before you need to change the battery. That's on a 5 amp hour battery. So yeah, first impressions of this pole saw, really, really excellent. So where this Murray pole saw and hedge trimmer really comes into good use around the garden is when you've got areas out of reach that you want to cut. So you can see here we've got a holly bush that I have kept cut right back as high as I can reach, but there's still overhanging branches. So what we tend to do is get the pigeons sit in the bush, eat the berries, and then they make a mess on the path. So I really want to get this cut back level with the pathway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pole fully extended so that I'm not standing under anything that falls down. I can stand back a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, we've got some thicker branches a little bit higher up, so I'm going to use the pole saw for that. So I'm going to cut these slightly lower branches with the hedge trimmer, and then we'll move on to the pole saw and see how well that works. Okay, so I hope you could see there how well this Murray, actually the hedge cutter has cut this bush back. It's got it back so it's not hanging over the path, and it's done a really good job. That's really given me the reach without getting up any ladders, step ladders or anything like that. Okay, so let's get the pole saw on now, and let's cut a few thicker branches and see how well that does. Okay, so that's our review of this pole saw and hedge trimmer from Murray. Really impressed. This is something you're going to want to have in your tool set, your garden tool set, if you have large trees in your garden or areas that you need to get that longer reach. So if you were just looking for a hedge trimmer, then I would just go for the standard hedge trimmer from Murray if you're doing a lot of low down work. But if you need that extra reach like I did on the bay tree, then definitely this is a fantastic tool. So just going over the specifications very quickly of what you're getting here. So I went for the bare tool, so no battery provided. If you do buy it with the battery, you're going to get the same 5 amp hour battery that you get with the lawnmower. So with the lawnmower you get 2 5 amp hour batteries. So think about whether or not you're going to get more tools from Murray. If you are, then you may want to consider buying this bare tool, because you're going to save around 45% on the cost if you do. So just really quickly going over the specifications. So the hedge trimmer, you've got a 41 centimeter blade here, cuts up to branches up to 16 millimeters wide, which is really impressive, and you're going to get around 2 hours of runtime on the 5 amp hour battery. You've got the 7 different cutting positions here that you can adjust, and that really did prove useful when I was doing the bay at the front in the front garden. So really impressed with that. But the star of the show for me really is the pole saw. It cut beautifully. Those branches were around 12 centimeters wide, and it just went through like butter, which I was really surprised with a battery powered chainsaw. So really impressed. You've got that 20 centimeter blade there, so anything up to 15 centimeters, this is going to cut really well. And remember, this is going to cut branches that are high up as well. So you've got this 2.6 meter length extension pole here, which is really excellent. Add the fact of your own weight and your arm's length, then that's really going to give you a really good 3 meter plus reach with this pole saw. Really impressed. In terms of the weight, it's around 6 kilograms. So as I was saying, if you are just doing low down work, then please just go for the standard Murray hedge trimmer. That's going to be easier to hold, lighter weight. When this is on the end of this pole, it does get a little bit heavy after a period of time. But all in all, really impressed with the 5 amp hour battery and the pole saw. You're going to get around 48 cuts of a 15 centimeter trunk. Again, really impressive. So that's pretty much it. That's the review of this Murray 2-in-1 tool here. So if you found this review useful, could I please ask that you click that thumbs up button below this video? It'd be much appreciated. And why not hit that subscribe button as well, so that you get notifications of any future videos that I do. Head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website, where you'll find a full review of this tool and many other tools and lawnmowers, and packed full of information there that will help you to keep your garden looking great. Thanks very much for watching this video review, and I'll see you in the next one.